Welcome to another episode of C# Corner videos. In this video we are going to talk about how to get started with the Expression Blend 4. Expression Blend 4 actually is not available free. It's a part of now Expression Studio 4 which was released last month. So if you do not have a Expression Studio, I would say go to your MSDN downloads and download the latest version. In this video we are going to cover what is Expression Blend, why we need Blend, what are new features in this version 4, and how it is related with Visual Studio 2010. Once we discuss this, after we are going to see how to create a Silverlight application in Visual Studio 2010, and then how we can take advantage of Blend to design the user interfaces. So what is Expression Blend? Expression Blend is a graphics design tool. So if you have ever designed a graphics web pages or any kind of design you have done, you probably are familiar with Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Fireworks or any other design tools. What these design tools they do is they create a user interface where you can see how a web page or your application will look like. Once that UI designed, then designer gives you images from images or HTML or whatever version you like, and designer also tells you what color schemes, what style sheets, what other formats, or say your animations they have used. This is what actually Express Blend is used for, is design the user interfaces. But Expression Blend is more than that. It not only let you design your UI pages, but also you can also actually write a code in it. So if I'm a programmer, it's basically, if I'm a programmer and I want to design web pages, I don't have to rely on my designers. I can design it myself, and by the time I'm done, code is already written for me. So forget that older ways where designer is going to give you HTML code, color code, then CSS, then blah blah blah. Here, whatever you design, code is already written in background for you. So that saves a lot of time. So why do we need Expression Blend? This is a good question. We really don't need Expression Blend. If you are just creating a simple application like, there's a web page, there's a button, there's a text boxes, and there's a bunch of other controls that is standard format, you really don't need Expression Blend. Expression Blend, most of the cases you are going to need is when you are creating really super looking, good looking web pages with gradient, animations, videos, timelines and other stuff. So that said, besides the designing, it generates YAML code for you. What does that mean is, when I'm designing a web page in Blend, I can take the code. Blend is already writing code for me, YAML code for me, for that page I'm designing. I can take that code and I can put that code in my WPF or Silverlight application. And then next other feature, why IntelliSense is available in YAML. So as soon as I type something, I can also see what else I can type if I have to type in the code. I can also add events and code for the UI in Expression Blend, and then it's very smoothly integrated with Visual Studio 2010. So if you have used previous versions of Blend, you probably are familiar with it. So but this version is a little better. It has more improved UI. It has YAML IntelliSense, code editing. There are a lot of new controls added. Definitely really good controls and useful controls, and it's better integration with Visual Studio 2010. So what is the relationship between Blend and Visual Studio 2010? So I would say Blend is a design tool where you can design your UI, even though you can write code, but it's not really good to write code. Code I will still use with Visual Studio 2010. So you design application in Blend, open in Visual Studio 2010 and write your code there. That's what it comes to. After we in this video we are so far talking, but I'm going to actually show you how we can we can do this transition from how we are going to create a Silverlight application in Visual Studio 2010. We are going to open the page in Express and Blend. We are going to design the page in Blend. Then we are going to see you can also build and run your application in Blend. After that, we are going to go back to Visual Studio 2010, make some changes to the code, and then we are going to build and run the application. So let's get started. Alright, so here we are with the Visual Studio 2010. In this, what I'm going to do is create a new application. I'm going to create a new project, and in this project I'm going to actually create a Silverlight application. So I have Silverlight application selected here, and make sure you have .NET Framework 4 selected here by default. In the left side I have Visual C# and Silverlight selected here. So I'm going to call and say OK. I will uncheck this for now. Make sure Silverlight 4 is selected here in Silverlight versions again, and say OK. Now, as you can see, my first Silverlight application is created in Visual Studio 2010, and as you can see, this is my Solution Explorer where I can see all the files. Default file is main page.yaml. In this file, you can see by default there is a user control, and there is just one grid control here. And the UI look like here nothing. So far there's no control or anything on this page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to design a nice UI, and guess what, I'm going to use Express and Blend for that. So for this feature, what we are going to do is right click on that page and say open in Express and Blend. However, if you do not have Express and Blend installed on your machine or Express and Studio installed on your machine, you will not see this option. So if you don't see this option, that means you need to reinstall your Express and Studio or Express and Blend on your machine. So open in Express and Blend. Now I'm going to open this in my Express and Blend, and here Express and Blend is opening. And as soon as you see, this is how my page look like in Express and Blend. This Express and Blend is redesigned if you have used older versions, so many things are changed here. You can see here this is these are two selection options. This is a zoom, and you can zoom and pan. These are eyedropper, pen bucket, and a gradient, pencil, pen tool. That's where we need to know is these are our controls right here. So if you right click on any of these, you will see different more options. So by default, say rectangle control is selected here by default, but if you right click on this, you will see rectangle, ellipse, and line. If you right click on this grid, you will see grid, canvas, stack panel, border, view box. Right click on text, you will see text box, whatever control related to that category, category. You see more options here. You can also click this to see different more options and new controls added to Express and Blend. So let's go back. What we are going to do is here, we'll keep talking about so many new features, but first our goal is to see how Express and Blend and Visual Studio 2010 both are combined and to build a Silverlight application. So what I'm going to do is create a very simple application where I'm going to drag and drop a text box control here, text block by default, and a where's my button control right here. I'm going to button control. Now you need to make sure there's no selection by default, so every time you need to drag and drop, you need to make sure selection is there. So this is my text block. I'm going to give this a name, text block 1, and I'm going to give my button a name, button 1. Now what I'm going to do is, you can double click on any control to edit it in Express and Blend, but if you need to write an event handler, so by default when you click on button, I want to do something, right? So this is my properties pane. If you see right here, in this you have properties and then you have events. So this events, if you click on that, you will see all the events related to one control. So if I have button selected here, button selected here, you will see all button related events, and here's click event. So if you double click on that, what you will see is boom right here. So this is my button click event handler. Hey, check this out. This is not opening in Visual Studio, it's opening actually in Blend itself. In previous versions it would actually launch Visual Studio. So here what I'm going to do is what I'm doing is, when you click on this button, I'm changing the text of the text block, and so let's just build F5, build and run it. Simple. So by default this is my page look like. When I click on button is pretty big here, button is clicked, hey, boom. So let's close this. So what we learn here is actually, now go back to our design, you can see, but this is not the main feature we're talking about. This is just showing how I can create a Silverlight application in Visual Studio and then open and Blend. To see all the other features we are going to use in my next videos, we are going to use all these Blend features and how we can really create good looking application, Silverlight or WPF applications. So now if you go back to your Visual Studio, this was either you can close, or if you go back to Visual Studio, so I'm going to switch back to Visual Studio, you will see, hey, your file has been modified. You'll say yes, and what you will see is the code you just designed in Express and Blend is written here for XAML, and you can see the same code and same UI in Visual Studio 2010. Now good part is, you can always come back. Once your application is designed, you can always come back and modify it the way you like in Visual Studio as well. So what I'm going to do is, my button does not have a width, so I'm going to set with 200, and same thing applies to text block. I can also change some other properties, say now I can build and run same application here. Just hit F5 or use this build and run sample, whatever option you like to use, and it's opening. Here we go. So there you go. So that said, the purpose of this video was to show you how we can get started with Express and Blend 4 and combine both Visual Studio and Express and Blend together to build a Silverlight application. So in my keep watching the video, and I'll be writing more. I am actually writing more videos on other features and how to use whole Express and Blend to build really good looking applications.